Okay. Hello, everyone, and good afternoon. This is a re-recording of the live webinar we held on Tuesday, May 26th, 2020. We are going to get straight into the vision and mission of CCMW. The Canadian Council of Muslim Women is a national non-profit organization committed to attaining equality, equity, and empowerment for all Muslim women in Canada. Founded in 1982, the organization works to promote Muslim women's identity in the Canadian context. For more than 37 years, CCMW has proudly advocated on behalf of Muslim women and their families and developed national projects that enrich the identity of Canadian Muslims, encourage civic engagement, and empower communities. During the past several years, the Canadian Council of Muslim Women has undertaken initiatives to inform Muslim women, the legal profession, community service agencies, policymakers, and the general public about the differences between Muslim family laws and Canadian family laws. Previously, CCMW published Muslim and Canadian Family Laws, a comparative primer in English and French, and a series of booklets in several languages on family law topics to further its public education efforts. Our latest project in this field, Muslim Women's Family Law and Legal Rights, is updating these documents and disseminating them via knowledge-sharing workshops within different cities across Canada for Muslim women, community service providers, the legal profession, and the general public. In 2003, CCMW took the lead in establishing a coalition against religious arbitration, composed of over 50 sister organizations, including the National Association of Women and the Law, METRAC, and the YWCA. The No Religious Arbitration Movement and CCMW's work represented an array of complex issues and events. We were successful in that the Government of Ontario made a decision to disallow the use of religious family laws under the province's Arbitration Act. CCMW was compelled to inform Muslim women about the choices they have available to them within Muslim and Canadian family laws and simultaneously educate individuals and institutions that assist them or work with them to resolve family disputes. CCMW is composed of a national board that works to further CCMW's objectives at a national level and over 13 local chapters made up of members whose passion and hard work advance the vision of CCMW within local communities. To learn more about CCMW, please visit ccmw.com. Next slide, please. I am now going to turn it over to Pam Cross, the facilitator for today's webinar.
Thanks, Sabrine. Hello, everybody. As Sabrine has said, my name is Pamela Cross. I'm a lawyer, and I've worked with CCMW on a number of projects over the past several years. The focus of my work is on violence against women and the law. I'm honored to be facilitating this series of 7 webinars, which reflect the content in 6 brochures produced by CCMW that provide comparative information about Canadian and Muslim family law, particularly as they pertain to women's rights. The topics covered in those brochures are marriage, divorce, custody and child support, family property and spousal support, domestic contracts, and inheritance. In today's webinar, we're going to focus on some overarching general information about Muslim systems of law and Canadian systems of law by way of introducing you to the topics we'll be covering in the following 6 webinars. The goal of the written materials, as well as these webinars, is to assist Canadian Muslim women in being able to make informed choices in the area of family law in Canada. We hope these resources will also be of assistance to professionals who work with Muslim women in the family court system, students who would like to know more about these issues, and community-based services that assist women. The family law brochures that CCMW has produced and recently updated are, as you can see them on this slide, available in a brochure format. The content of these resources is based on Muslim and Canadian family laws, a comparative primer, which was published by CCMW in 2006. Please note that the information contained in these webinars is just that, information. It's not legal advice, and it should not be interpreted as such. If you or someone you know is dealing with a family law issue, it's important for that person to meet with a lawyer, to discuss their situation, to provide the details of their situation in a frank and honest way, and to receive legal advice at that point. A lawyer can only give legal advice efficiently and effectively if they know what all of the background information is. That can be hard when it comes to a family law issue because often people have kept many details of their relationship private because they consider them just to be nobody else's business, or perhaps because they're embarrassed by some elements of how things have gone in their relationship, or possibly because they have fear. They're afraid of the possible implications if they tell people about what's happened in their family. But for a lawyer to give good legal advice, they need that kind of information. And that's why these webinars, the brochures, the primer, are not a replacement for legal advice. They've been written in a general way to help people understand the law and how it works, but they haven't been written to speak to specific fact situations. If you want to find out more about the sources and validity of Muslim laws and legal opinions that we refer to in these webinars, we encourage you to consult Muslim and Canadian Family Laws, a comparative primer. Laws in a public legal system, like the Canadian legal system, are in a constant state of flux. They change to adapt to the times. What you hear in this webinar and what you read in the brochures is accurate to the date they were produced. The brochures are accurate to the date of publication, and this webinar is accurate to today's date, May the 29th. You are encouraged to verify that the information you are relying on about Canadian laws is current to the time you are reading or hearing it. Muslims have developed an elaborate legal tradition over many centuries since the revelation of the Quran to the Prophet Muhammad and the formation of the first Muslim communities in the 7th century CE. Let me just take a second here to say that the material relating to Muslim law that I'm presenting to you today was developed for this project by Professor Omar Farahat, who unfortunately wasn't available to co-facilitate these workshops with me. I'm not an expert in Muslim law. I am something of an expert in Canadian family law. We will do our best to answer questions that people may have about Muslim law, but we will be turning to CCMW staff, board members for those responses to those questions. We're happy to have you email them in after you watch this webinar, and we'll do our best to respond to them. This legal tradition has divine revelation as its fundamental source, that being the legal tradition of the revelation of the Quran. Divine revelation to humanity is represented in the Quran, which is the Arabic text reflecting the word of God as it was revealed to Prophet Muhammad by Archangel Gabriel, and the Sunnah, reflected in records